Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas.
Hello, I'm Billy Cobbin, Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Skye Boning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union,
Good morning, Huntsville.
Hey, welcome into America's Living Room.
Yeah, I noticed the new get up here. I didn't check it out yesterday. You said you had it here yesterday. I didn't get a chance to watch the show yesterday, but wow, you're upgrading constantly.
Yeah, I've already seen something though. It looks kind of lonely over there. We need to. You know what we need to do is we need to get a inflatable of Sam Houston and put in that chair.
Yeah, definitely.
That would fill it out pretty nice.
Yeah, that would.
So I don't know. It feels kind of too relaxed. Yesterday we did this for the first time with Kay and Rick from Tomorrow's Promise, and halfway through the show, I just felt like taking a nap.
Yeah, really. Me too. I sat down here this morning, had a long night, and so did you. You had a kid up in the middle of the night, and
yeah, I know you don't know anything about that.
Nothing
Never
about that.
Never experienced that at all.
Nothing about that. We just hear this. Our youngest, our bedroom door, we close it, but we don't, close it all the way. It's just kind of pulled to. And when the kids come in, every one of the kids just pulls the door open. Flies the door open. But our youngest, every time that she comes to the door, she knocks on the door. Knock, 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 knock. And so I'm like, who is it? And I know already who it is. But she never comes in. She just knocks. And then Kim, so I think she does it on purpose because it makes Kim have to get out of bed and go open the door. It's like, what is it?
Do you ever just tell her, come in?
I do, but she doesn't. She's waiting for her mama to get up out of bed. I know that.
Oh, look. Now, can I ask you a question that hopefully won't get you in trouble with Kim?
Yeah.
When now they're, most of them are growing up now, but is one of them still in diapers, or are they all out of diapers?
No, they're all out of diapers.
Oh man, what a relief for that!
I know. That's a big budget saver too.
Let me go. Yeah, diapers now like $3 a diaper.
I know, it's unbelievable.
Inflation is hitting the diapers. It's hit the lottery and it's hit the diapers. It also hit a glass of tea at P6 Farms. Man, I got a cup of tea. It's like $7 this past weekend. So I was one tea and done.
Yeah.
Ice cream was $16. $16, by the way.
Wow.
So you get your money's worth.
Wow.
It's good though.
Yeah.
Question for you. Again, Kim, if you're watching, I don't want to get you in trouble, Jason.
Oh, she's watching for sure.
When the babies were in the diapers.
Yeah.
How many did you have? Like, if you don't mind me asking, like at one time, how many did you have in diapers?
I think probably 3 was the most we had at the same time in diapers.
That's not too bad.
No, that's not too bad.
Yeah, we're 2 in diapers. Now, Braylon is finally at the pull-ups, but here's where I'm getting at. Baby, let's walk through the scenario, Jason. Baby starts crying in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
You're already tired. Man. Do you pretend that you're asleep? Or do you get up and do the diaper?
You said you didn't want to get me in trouble. What kind of question is that?
Yeah.
No, if I don't sleep really well at night. Unfortunately, but Kim was always really good about getting up and changing the diapers that need to be changed or doing whatever. But her dad had narcolepsy. You know what that is?
Yes.
You know, when you fall asleep. And he literally would fall asleep in the middle of a sentence, and then he'd wake up and finish the sentence.
Oh, man.
But it's a super nice guy. I would love him. I mean, he was a great, great man. But Kim doesn't have narcolepsy, but she has no problem falling asleep. So she can get up, go tend to the baby, come back. When her head hits the pillow, she's asleep, which is a great blessing, especially for a mom.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, we kept you out of the doghouse, Jason. Well, I think there's a
I sound like Jerry Jones answering a question, right?
Don't you ever? You want to keep your job on the radio? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, that was something.
Good night. Are we not allowed to? We're not allowed to like voice our opinions.
That was sad.
That's why I'm honestly thankful that in a way, when I was the play-by-play broadcaster of Sam Houston, then at North Dakota State. I was always very positive. The fan base, especially at NDSU, would kind of get on to me and say, why is Rob always so positive? Tell it how it is. Well, I had a guy there named Phil Hansen, Hall of Famer, played for the Buffalo Bills. He was my analyst, one of the best I've ever worked with. And Phil and I still chat about once a month. Now, Phil told it how it is. I mean, when you're in the Ring of Honor at Buffalo,
you have a little.
You got a little pull there. Yeah. So people knew that Phil. So Phil was my guy, and I feel like as the play-by-play guy, it was never my place to question things or try to. Who am I? I've never coached. I've never even played football except junior high. I quit in 9th grade because I was 90 pounds and scrawny, if you can believe that. So football wasn't for me once I hit 9th grade. But yeah, Jerry Jones, if you didn't catch it, I know many of you are Texans fans, but Jason and I, we're Cowboys fans. We're kind of in the doldrums as always, 27 years now in a row.
Man.
But man, the owner of the Cowboys got all bent out of shape over these radio hosts asking him questions.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to answer the questions.
Right. They were just kind of pressing him on the fact that
the Cowboys are terrible.
Yeah, who's responsible for this mess?
And you got to think that Jerry's either in delusion or that he knows that he's at fault.
Well, that's why he's so angry. I mean, he's so angry because he realizes there's only so many people, like you said, after 27 years, there's only so many people you can point the finger at, and then eventually you have to realize that it's pointing back at you.
I have a friend who is a colleague and a friend, someone that I could call if I needed some help, a great guy that's an analyst with the Cowboys, and he's not afraid to say things sometimes but he's been doing it a long time, so he's got that pull. He was a quarterback there back in the day too, so he, Jason Garrett, and Troy Aikman get together all the time, and it's kind of funny because you'll see them on Instagram, and they call it the quarterback club, and so they'll get together, and it's cool to see like Jason Garrett still hanging out with them.
Right.
So
that's pretty cool.
Well, hey, we want to welcome all of you in. Thanks for being a part of it this morning as we celebrate all things good happening here in Huntsville, Texas. This is Good Morning Huntsville as we get rocking and rolling. Got a great show lined up. We'll talk about that here in just a few moments. We are on episode 378. 378, and what rhymes with 8? I'm losing weight. I've decided to quit eating after 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Although last night I lied. I had ice cream in bed. So I kind of skipped to last night. But, man, I've dropped like 5 pounds just by not eating late anymore.
Yeah.
It's really worked.
That's awesome, man.
Kind of scary.
Keep it up.
Well, it's scary because the last 2 weeks it's happened, and you lose weight that fast. You're like, what's going on? Well, I attribute it to not eating late at night. So that's kind of the game plan, but we do want to welcome you in. We are here. A big shout-out, as always, Paul, the gallery for all of your custom framing, photography, and more. Go visit my good friend Paul. We love you, man. Appreciate all that you do here in Huntsville. Also, a huge shout-out to Elliot Herzlich, Elliot's Jewelers, and online at elliotsjewelers.com. We have 12 of our necklaces remaining. I've been talking about it for quite some time. That campaign will end on Friday. So if you're looking for a diamond necklace, 2 matching diamond pendants, These are valued at $319. All you have to do is donate a suggested donation of $100, and those can be yours. All proceeds will go to Care Center Huntsville. I believe we've raised about $700 or $800 for them so far, and that campaign, again, will end at the end of this week. So if you've been thinking about it, today is the day. Go ahead and do that. We don't get any of that money. Again, it goes directly to Care Center Huntsville, and we appreciate them. By the way, Jason, Care Center showed up yesterday with some cookies from Two Blondes and a Bakery. Did you get any of those?
No, I didn't.
You're not a sweet tooth type guy, though, are you?
Well, I'm like you. I got to watch. My metabolism isn't that great, so I really have to watch what I eat, and I try not to eat a lot of sugary stuff.
Well, it was like it was Boss Appreciation Day.
Yeah.
Last week, and I was talking to Molly, and I made y'all a little card, and we all signed it, but we wanted to, and we called it Bay Day, by the way. It was Linda Leeds and Bay Day. But we wanted to. I was like, should we go get him a cake? And then Molly's like, no, Jason's not really a sweet tooth type guy. And she goes, but he likes those energy drinks. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, man, those things have more sugar than the cake, Molly.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about going and getting some of those Bang drinks that you have.
Yeah.
But I didn't know which one was your favorite.
Oh, don't worry about it. I don't need any more of that. Of course, you noticed that I didn't have one this morning, and probably everybody else too, because I'm halfway asleep.
Well, the word says, don't make your brother stumble, and so I didn't want to.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't want you to stumble.
Thank you for that. Looking out for me.
One of these days, I don't want Jason to have to suck in his belly to walk through the door here, because I'm already at that point, Jason.
No,
so I don't want you to stumble, man. So, but of course, we are here on a Thursday, a Thankful Thursday, with the First Baptist Jason Bay pastor here. Always a lot of fun on our Thursdays. We enjoy it. And we are going to have Skye Carlton joining us and her husband coming up here with Deep Clean Texas as well. We're excited to have them on and talk about some great things that they're doing. Wonderful organization. Skye and her husband, they have just hit the ground running here in Huntsville, really doing a great job. Their services are so great, Jason. They also have an opportunity for cancer patients to get free cleanings. And so there's some really cool things that they're doing, just a tremendous blessing to Huntsville and quite literally throughout the area, not just here in Huntsville. So we'll talk to them a little bit later here this morning as well. But as we open up, man, what have you been up to? We just wrapped up a great series, the Beatitudes, and getting started with another one.
Yeah. So we've been busy. Our last night was our Wednesday night camp out night. For our kids, we had a little. Kids didn't stay the night. They just came. We had a little campfire, and so that was fun last night. And next Wednesday will be, and I won't be here before then, but next Wednesday will be our fall festival. So that's going to be a big event here at First Baptist, and it always is a great time for the community to come out. So I just want to remind everybody to come on out next Wednesday. I think that's the 30th, isn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
It is. Yes, sir. Yeah.
The 30th. And I believe it starts at 6 o'clock, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah. You see how prepared we are.
Yeah. Well, it's like yesterday I felt bad because I didn't know the kids were in the back. And so we have some friends that are in our class, and they have 3 or 4 kids, and they said, where are they meeting at? And I said, I think because they were under 6th grade. So I said, well, they should be on the 2nd floor up there.
Yeah.
So they went back and forth like 4 times.
They were all over there behind the.
Yeah, they were behind. I said, we're going to bring this up on the staff meeting Monday. I'm so sorry. I took responsibility. I should know. But they were very caring. But it was fun.
Yeah. And then we are starting we wrapped up the Beatitudes, and we're starting a new series this week called Unmet Expectations, and really going to be focusing on, I think it's going to be a really neat series, because so often people have expectations for their life, and other people have expectations for us. And when we don't meet those expectations in their minds or in our own mind, it can lead to a lot of disappointment. But it's during those times where if we allow God to work, he can do his best work in those times when we're ready to surrender and realize that it's not about our expectations, it's about God's expectations for us, what he's created us to be. And the first sermon I'm preaching is after Jesus was in went through the temptation in the wilderness, he went back to his hometown. And they had already heard about, of course, they saw Jesus grow up, and they had heard about the things that he was doing. And when he came back to the temple, they recognized him as the carpenter's son. Isn't this the carpenter's son? Their expectations of him was to be just like his dad, to be the next generation of carpenters. And the Bible says that in Jesus' hometown, he could do no good work there because of the people and their expectations of him and what he was going to be, obviously, what the ministry he was going to conduct was so much greater than they can even imagine. But so many times we're limited by our expectations and other people's expectations of us. And Jesus says a prophet has no honor in his hometown. And he leaves there and does the greatest ministry, literally God in the flesh, carrying out his ministry on earth. And so many of them in his very own hometown missed it because of their expectations of what they thought he should be. And that's a great lesson for us all, is to understand that when expectations of other people, don't let expectations of other people limit us from who God wants us to be.
Yeah, that's so good.
Have you ever experienced that? I remember whenever I first surrendered into the ministry and I started talking about I didn't come from a long line of preachers. My dad was just, he worked down in Houston in the oil business, and my mother owned a shop, children's shop, and then she was a teacher. And so when I began to tell my parents that I was thinking about going into the ministry, it wasn't like they were high-fiving me. It was like, now, are you sure about this? Think about this.
How's that going to pay the bills?
Yeah, exactly. I remember when I was going, my wife, when I was dating her, and I went over to her house for the first time to sit down with her family just to get to know them, and her sister was there, her older sister, and her parents were just as kind as they could be to me, but her sister was kind of pressing me on like, all right, now how are you going to be able to provide? You know what I'm saying? How are you?
Sounds like you're on The Bachelor or something.
No, exactly. I give Kim a hard time about that. But people in my own family, whenever they began to realize that I wanted to be called, that I was called into the ministry, that I was going to the ministry, behind my back, I was the laughing stock of the family at that time. There's no way that, who's he think he is, that kind of thing. And I think a lot of people go through that in life, and they're limited on their hopes and their dreams of what God created them to be because of other people's expectations for them in life. And they just think, well, maybe it's their family history. Maybe it's, whatever it is. A lot of times we get put in a box based on what other people think. And Jesus said, hey, if I can't do any work here, let's go to the next town. Yeah, and that's what I think we have to adopt that same mentality about what God is going to do in our lives and in our families, and we have to break off the shackles of the expectations of other people. If we don't meet their expectations, sometimes that's the best thing that can happen.
I agree. Just focus on what he has planned for you, and the rest will fall into place.
Yeah.
It's a good word. I'd like to talk more about that on the back end of the show. And
yeah, for sure.
Friends out there, if you have any examples of that's happened to you in your life, feel free to chime in, let us know. Do us a favor, like and share this broadcast as we continue to promote all things good here in Huntsville. We're going to take our first break. We'll have our friends from Deep Clean Texas on here in just a few moments, and then we're just going to celebrate good today. That's what we do. Somebody a while back on one of the groups on Facebook said, why don't you create your own page about the good? They were talking to somebody else, and I said, there has been for 2 years. And so I linked in and said, follow us.
Yeah, right.
So that's what we do here. Hey, we want to remind you, too, I feel like giving away a few more Cafe Texan gift cards this week. I've got one I'll give away today. And Jason, check out that keyword. It's so appropriate for this week.
Yeah, it is appropriate after I heard what happened to your truck.
Deer. So the keyword is deer. But it's weird. There's a buck and two babies. Normally it's the doe and two babies, but there's the buck and two babies.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's because she was out on 19. So that's what happened when she hit my truck. So now Daddy's there with the babies. Not my fault. She ran out in front of me in a split second. But I hate that. I really do. I'm a lover of animals. Don't get me wrong. I like to eat deer meat. I like to eat, hamburgers and all that. But I also am compassionate for animals. But not when they run in front of my truck. You got to watch out where you're going. Yeah. Keyword deer is the keyword this week. And all you got to do is text that in along with your name on the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line at 936-339-0139. And we will be more than happy to hook up somebody today with the Cafe Texan gift card. New rule, if you don't answer, you don't win. If you don't pick up in 30 days, it goes to Jason and I. So I have a stack of prizes in there with Molly. She was asking me, are people coming to pick this stuff up? I said, I don't know. There's going to be a limitation on that, 30 days, and then it goes to us. So we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us as always. Our Thankful Thursdays brought to you by First Baptist Huntsville. We'll be back. Continue the discussion in just a few moments. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted, family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union. One of the best things I hear from our members is how they love being treated like they're important, like their family. Sure, our members love things like low rates on loans too, but combine that with the friendliest and most helpful service in town, and you've got Walker County Federal, taking care of our members. It's what we do. We are Walker County Federal Credit Union, member NCUA.
Tomorrow's Promise Montessori schools believe in creating spaces where children can learn, grow, and use their imaginations. At any Tomorrow's Promise location, children enjoy the largest playgrounds in town. Tomorrow's Promise Montessori is a fun school where every child learns at their own pace, and mastery of a concept is expected before moving on to the next concept. At Tomorrow's Promise, every child is respected, loved, and nurtured for the unique individual that they are.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tomorrowspromise.info for more information. Education you can trust.
40 Days USA.
40 days of prayer for our nation.
Please join Peggy Nienaber, Senior VP of Faith and Liberty, as she prays for the U.S. Congress.
40 days.
Dear Lord, we pray for our members of Congress, both in the Senate and in the House of Representatives. We pray for those who know you and hear your voice when they make their decisions. God, work through their hearts as they accomplish your will. And for those members that don't know you, we pray that they fall to their knees for forgiveness and their hearts become humble. Give each member and their staff wisdom and discernment, and that the purpose that is always focused on you. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Join us as we pray for our nation by going to 40daysusa.com to receive the 40 Days USA prayer guide and other free resources. That's 40daysusa.com.
This is KHSP LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville. Braylon say this is Spirit Radio.
This is Spirit Radio.
Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
All right, Huntsville back at it. How about 64 degrees waking up this morning? Nice 96% humidity. Well, that might as well just be 100. High today of 87. How about that for late October? Tonight, 62. Tomorrow, 87. Friday, 64. Saturday, 87. Blah, blah, blah. Just continues. I'm going to be positive, though. You know, at least it's not 187.
That's what I'm thinking, too.
So, welcome back in. Clear skies, we do need rain, so I want to encourage folks, pray for rain. My mom was telling me in Central Texas they are under heavy drought restrictions now up in Georgetown, and they have not had rain in over almost 2 months now. So we definitely need the wet stuff. Well, hey, we want to welcome you back in, friends, as we continue on our Thursdays, brought to you by First Baptist, our Thankful Thursdays, and we are now joined by our good friends Brad and Skye Carlton. Brad, it only took me 3 or 4 times and asking you 3 or 4 times to get Brad down.
That's all right, man. That's all right.
Brad, as you're sitting here, real quick, I want to bring Skye on in a moment. It's always ladies first, but I do have to bring Brad on first. I guess I kind of like, here's the deal. Brad, you got a good voice for this, by the way. Have you ever been told you got a good voice?
You know, I have been. I guess I sound different to myself than I do to other people. But I've heard that before, so I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, I may have to bring you in, you know, and pay you to record some commercials for us, man.
All right, I'm available, man. I'm available.
But that's up to Skye. I don't know how busy you got. Y'all are staying pretty busy, so
we are indeed. I could probably sneak away though.
Well, welcome in. We appreciate y'all being here. I've really enjoyed getting to know y'all here over the last year and a half or so. Skye Carlton here as well, and that is your wonderful better half. And
yes,
you guys are a partnership and doing some great work with Deep Clean Texas. Skye, I'll kind of lead in with you now. Let us know just a little bit about your background, your involvement in this area, how you got here.
Good morning.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us on the show.
Good to see you.
I'm not nervous or anything.
Nah, you're all right.
All right. How we got here, I don't know that you know this, but Brad got his undergraduate from Sam Houston.
Eat him up. I
did not know that. Just a few years ago.
Yeah. 1 or 2.
1 or 2.
Yeah, I saw you walk across the stage last year.
Yeah, man. That's right. Yeah. You were there for that. Good.
And then he really enjoyed it here. It's probably his story that he should be telling you. And both of us have had exposure in the country living lifestyle when we were children at some point. And when we got married, we always talked about having just living in the country. And anyway, I think it's just a God story how we got out here to Huntsville. Or actually, we live in Beat Eyes, but it's not too far.
Yeah. It's all the same.
It is. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the business just came with us. Yeah.
How did it start? What was the aha moment of like, we got to get Deep Clean Texas going?
Oh, man, you're asking some questions. So it was just a hobby. It was just a side gig. It was just a part-time thing. He was getting his master's from Liberty University. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
And at the time, and wanted to pick up some extra money. And so I was talking to some gals in our Bible study class and told them, you know, I'm thinking about cleaning houses on the side, and I don't know what I'm doing, so would you let me clean your house for free? And they were throwing their keys at me.
Yeah, here, hold on, wait, here.
Those days are gone, by the way, Rob.
Oh, okay, never mind.
And, yeah, the price has gone up a little bit. So I practiced on their houses, and one thing led to another. And I started, I was working part-time, cleaning part-time, excuse me. And then about a year later, and that's another story that I won't get into because it's just a little long, but I went full-time. And then it was only 6 months that I was hiring some help because we were getting so busy. And I just really enjoyed it. It was very therapeutic. Cleaning has always been therapeutic to me. I never thought about it like a business before, and it really honestly I still didn't think about it like a business. It was just something fun for me to do, and I got to get paid to do it. And so and I found a few other crazy, people to come alongside me to help me clean. And
Perfect.
It's just, yeah.
Well, Brad, how did you get roped into this scenario? What happened?
Well, this hobby turned into a business, and she was to the point where we were going to either hire somebody from the outside, or I was going to try to come on board and help her. I had just gotten my master's in business administration, and I had owned businesses previously, and so we prayed about it, talked to the Lord about it, and He said, "Why don't you two partner up?" And so we did, and I guess I've been doing this with her now for 7 years. Is that right? Somewhere around 7 years. She's had this business for 13. Wow. So she's really the impetus behind this. She's the genesis of this business, and yeah, she's one of those weird folks who finds cleaning therapeutic. I don't quite find it so therapeutic. Plus, I'm too old now to be cleaning houses.
But you have an appreciation for
I
clean
absolutely
homes.
do. Absolutely, I do. And so my role now has kind of morphed into more the human resources thing, and then more like consulting. Which direction are we taking the business? That type of thing.
He's like the gatekeeper. I love his role because, and when he's a human resources, what that means is that he is the gatekeeper. So he looks at hundreds of resumes every week. He's the one that filters through the people who are wanting a job, and then actually get the right people in front of us to interview.
That's wonderful. Yeah. It's good to have that. You got to have the gatekeeper.
Well, yeah, she's a high energy, right? And I'm more the low key guy, so we balance out pretty perfectly.
That's true.
Well, again, we're so blessed today to have Deep Clean Texas with us. Brad and Skye Carlton joining us today. I do want to talk here in just a few moments about getting ready for the holiday season, because it's right around the corner. Home Depot's thought it's been here for the past couple of months now.
Yeah, at least.
No, nothing on them, but that's how it works now. But Skye, before we dig into that, I love this. I love that you said you find it therapeutic. You have to have a passion for what you do, I believe, to be successful. Even in a cleaning business, you have to have a passion for what you do. You have a passion for it. That's why your business has been successful. Now, one, as believers, we know that God has blessed that. We're going to say that first. But secondly, you got to have a passion for it. I believe that God puts those traits in us for a reason, and He puts those passions in us for a reason, and that is to do what we do to ultimately glorify Him. And you're doing that through the business. You don't have to throw a fish logo on it and say this is what we do. You do it through what you do. But you also have a passion for helping others. And I wanted to highlight this before we dig into the holiday season. You've joined our Walker County Referral Cooperative group. You've hit the ground running. Skye, you know this, Brad. That's your wife. She hits the ground running with whatever.
She doesn't do anything halfway.
She has helped take that group already just in the short couple of months to the next level. Just talk briefly about your passion for helping others and just general business. You've done really well at that, just helping and marketing and promoting others too, Skye.
Thank you. I appreciate that. One of my spiritual gifts, I believe, is exhortation and being a cheerleader. Mm-hmm. I love to promote. I love to encourage, and so I avoid the hard conversations. That's what he's for.
Yeah, you got to balance it out.
Yeah, that's what he's for. So because just of who I am, and by the way, I just want to take note that in an interview. One of the questions that I ask is, hey, I want to let them know that on the back of their T-shirt, I'm not sure if we have it here, but it's Colossians 3:23, and it's whatever you do, work heartily for as if for under the Lord or to the Lord. Mm-hmm. And so I asked them in an interview, would that bother you to have a scripture on the back of your T-shirt? Because I want them to know who they're working for, and who I'm working for, right?
Yeah.
And so we kind of do promote that we are a faith-based company. And so I think our customers appreciate that, and a lot of our employees do too, because they know that we're going to be working out of and making decisions, out of integrity.
Yeah, that's so good. I love that, Skye.
Okay, but as far as the networking, this is something that is evolved over the last year and a half. I didn't even know networking was available out there. I don't know why. I just had the scales over my eyes, and the Lord led me to one thing after another. And I love being around other business owners or business leaders, I should say. You don't have to be a business owner to be a part of the networking group, but just wanted to lead in business. And I've really enjoyed talking shop. I don't get to do that a whole lot. I mean, that's all I do is in my mind, just run my business and think about business. And so I don't want to belabor that point when I'm talking to my kids or talking to my husband, I want to have some personal time too, but I need to have an outlet to talk about business.
Yeah. Well, you've done a great job, just like I said, promoting others and being involved. I think that attributes to the success of the business as well. And you're a hands-on owner too. As you're sitting here talking, I'm thinking, not only are you an owner in this business, but you're also out there helping to clean. You're doing things. You're right there in the thick of it. As we're talking, and Jason could attest to this too. We know a guy who has a construction business. And he's with his employees doing a ton of stuff. His name's Brian, great guy with Castlerock. He's always involved. He's working, right? And you're the same way.
Mm-hmm. She is.
I'll ask you this, and then we'll talk about the holiday season coming up. What does that do for you as a business owner? What do your employees see in you when you're out there working alongside and cleaning and doing these things?
Well, I hope they see some camaraderie. I hope they see that I'm not asking them to do anything that I wouldn't do myself. And I hope they see me leading by example. Honestly, that's really what the point is. I'm not always out in the field, and I know that my time is valuable when I'm running the business, but I can't let them have all the fun all the time.
It goes back to the passion.
Yeah, you see what I mean?
The therapeutic part. Well, holiday season's right around the corner. I'm sitting here thinking right now in the garage, I've got boxes now. I've organized. I have boxes. We have like fall box, and that's only one. It's those little totes you get at Home Depot for they used to be $7. Now inflation, they're probably 30. Right. But little fall box. I have one box for fall. I have one box for like Easter, and then I have 20 boxes for Christmas. So guide us through us through what's coming up with the holiday season. What are some things that people can do to get ready for the holidays?
I'm really glad that you asked that question. I was prepared. Well, I've got a list of things. So get ready, get your pencil and your paper out and follow along. The first thing that you want to do is declutter your house. So during this time, your kids are in school, you've got ball games to attend, yada, yada, yada. You want to get those piles of paperwork off the surfaces. You want to get the piles of laundry off the surfaces. You want to hone in and really focus on the areas that your family is, like, let's just say you're the matriarch and you've got family coming in and you've got a couple of bedrooms that they're going to stay in and a bathroom. But you also, a lot of times, we use those spare bedrooms as storage spaces.
I'm laughing. I don't want to I'm laughing. I have to say this because I'm thinking of the office at home right now. That bed has become the catch-all for the laundry.
Absolutely.
Like it just doesn't get folded anymore because it's just Jason knows this. It just never stops. It runs 24/7.
It's a perfect horizontal space to store things too.
So thank you. We need the motivation to get that cleaned up.
But I'm glad that can I just say, I'm glad that you guys use that instead of your master area. So ladies, keep those master rooms decluttered and clean. So please. So declutter, and you want to just focus. Don't overwhelm yourself because the holidays are about just being joyful, spending time with family. So when you're getting prepared, don't overwhelm yourself. Just focus on those areas that your family is going to be staying in. Declutter. Get all those piles taken care of. Put them away. And then you want to clean. You want to get those summertime decorations put away in this tubs, just file them away summer, spring. So no more blue bonnets, no more, put those away. But before you put them away, you want to dust those off, wipe them clean. Otherwise, next spring you bringing them out and you're going to have to, you make more work for you later on. And then deep clean those key areas, the living room, and when I say deep clean, so now it's all decluttered. And what you want to do is you want to go into and do one room at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself. So take that spare bedroom and you want to work from top to bottom, left to right. And just dust, wipe the surfaces, make sure the bed's made, and then vacuum. And then that way, that room is completely done before you move on to the next one.
See, I love that advice because when I do stuff, I see everything. If you have a list of 1 through 10, I see 1 through 10 instead of 1. 2, 3, 4. And I've learned, especially over the last year and being on staff here at First, I've really prayed about it, and I've really tried to hone in because in the broadcasting world, and coaches even say this too, you can have what's called paralysis by analysis.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I would get paralyzed even trying to clean a house. I would start one project, and then I would start in this room, then I would walk into the garage to get a tool. Well, what happens? The garage is a mess. So all of a sudden now I'm trying to clean up stuff in the garage, and I totally forgot about the room. It's happened to me. I guess that's ADD, but it's happened.
Oh,
I think
for
that's
sure.
very common.
This is how you avoid that, is just doing one room at a time and staying focused. So a lot of times people will, like you said, or what they'll do is they'll see a picture and go, oh, and they'll get all nostalgic and want to, look over the photo album, and now they're going through. It's okay. You're about to make more memories and take more pictures. Stay focused.
That's good ideas.
Yeah.
As we head in, maybe these are some overwhelming tasks that people just can't do on their own. That's where you guys can step in and help. Walk us through that process. How does it work if somebody needs a cleaning? Say they're a first-time client. Kind of guide us through that whole process.
Sure. Okay. So if you need some help, then you're going to give us a call. Or you can go on our website and get a quote online. It's a soft quote is what I call it, because we have a mandatory assessment. We come into your home, we have a form we fill out, we take copious notes that it's kind of like a menu that the cleaning crew will study before the clean. So they're going to know where your trash liners are, so they don't have rummaging through the cabinets. They're going to know if we make your beds or strip your sheets, or they're going to know exactly the expectations that you have for them. And so we try to make it a win-win situation. And it also tells us if we need special supplies. Extension dusters, we have it all. We have the extension dusters that'll go 30 feet high if we need them for the vaulted ceilings. We've got in our arsenal, we are prepared for hard water stains, mold, mildew. We're called Deep Clean Texas. So a lot of times we're taking care of post-construction cleans, move-ins, move-outs, but we also do maintenance cleans as well. So the basic stuff. If you want to talk about our products, the main product that we use is cleaning vinegar. And we dilute that. And if you put a couple of drops of Dawn, it has to be Dawn, the blue Dawn soap. If you put a few drops of that in it, you've got the perfect degreaser. I could do a basic clean, pretty much everything I need to do with one bottle of that and a few rags.
Wow.
And so we do that assessment because we want to make sure that this is a very relational business. Mm-hmm. We want to get to know our customers. In fact, we do. We know our customers, their names of their kids, the names of their dogs, their schedules, and things like that. And we want to protect our cleaning crew as well. So we want to make sure we've met the customer and know that
gatekeeper.
It's a safe environment. Yeah, I guess that's me. It's a safe environment for these cleaning techs to come in, and then we meet expectations. We manage expectations, I should say, and then we'll set you up if everything looks good after we've done that assessment. We take your information, we set you up on the schedule, and we come in and do that clean for you. And then if you enjoy our services, we'll keep going if you want to, or it can just be a one-time thing. It's really up to the client. We don't do contracts or anything of that nature. We don't want to rope anybody into something like that, and frankly, we don't want to be roped into something like that. So we just try to get in there and do a good job for folks and create an ongoing relationship for years to come.
One of the best ways to get started, go to their website. It's deepcleantexas.com. Again, that website, super easy to get to, deepcleantexas.com for more information on setting up those appointments, the phone numbers, all of that. Something else that I wanted to highlight, part of your business gives back, and I do want to highlight that in just a few moments. Mm-hmm. But I do have a question. Someone had messaged in just a few moments ago. Do you also offer commercial cleaning?
No.
So just residential?
We are 100% residential cleaning. We have a few offices we do, but they're for customers that we clean their homes as well. So, but we don't do commercial at all.
So it's 100% residential is what you focus on.
However, we do have general liability. We are insured and bonded.
Right.
Okay, awesome. Well, let's talk about, again, Skye, Carlton, Brad Carlton joining us from Deep Clean Texas here this morning on Good Morning Huntsville. So great to have you all. One thing that I love about, again, you got to be passionate for your business to be successful, but here's another key that I left out. You also have to find a way to give back. I think companies that give back, and so many people say, well, I just don't have the resources to give back. I challenge people on that. Everybody can give back something. It doesn't mean you got to give back money. You could give back your time. You guys are giving back in a major way to those that are going through some really tough trials in life. Highlight that for us this morning, Skye, and how y'all are helping.
It's cleaning for a reason. It is nationwide. I think they're even in Australia now and Canada, maybe. You'll have to look that up. Excuse me. But cleaning for a reason, and it's a 501 nonprofit organization who matches cleaning companies like Deep Clean Texas with cancer patients. It doesn't have to be just breast cancer. It doesn't have to be just females. It could be all cancers, and children and adults as well. And the cleaning companies agree to give 2 free cleans at their discretion. Some people need a deep clean at this point in their life, and some people, we can offer just a 3-hour clean, and so we're going to be taking care of one next week. So far this year, Deep Clean Texas has given cleans in the neighborhood of $8,000 in value so far this year. We'd like to hit 10 before the year's out.
And folks, I'm assuming if they're interested in those cleans too, in that partnership, they can go to the website as well, get more information there for that also.
It's there, yes. And we just had our 2nd annual fundraiser because we've partnered with them, and we want to raise awareness of this program. And in doing so, they ask cleaning companies to participate in a fundraiser. They ask for $1,000, but I try to go above and beyond.
And go-getter, like what we do.
Absolutely.
So we wanted to raise $5,000, and we just had our 2nd annual when our customers, and you didn't have to be a customer, gave $50. We would give $50 in a discount to their next clean. So no one loses at all. Mm-hmm. It's a win-win situation. And they entered to win 1 year of free cleaning.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's big time. I'm thinking with our 2 little ones running around and 2 dogs, we need that.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Exactly.
So what's great, folks, get involved and support the Carltons and their initiative and what they're doing. It's a mission and it's a business with a mission, not just going in, cleaning a home and leaving. It's making life-lasting relationships. I truly believe that. I think also businesses that are successful focus on building relationships, not treating people as numbers, but treating people as friends. And you guys do that, and you do it so well. Again, deepcleantexas.com, the website to go to. Get started today. The gatekeeper will be more than happy to help you out and get you going, and Skye will be there. Brad, before we go, just anything maybe that popped into your mind that you want to mention this morning?
No, I just want to build on what you said about this being a relational business. It is truly that. I mean, Skye started this business really because she has a heart for busy wives and moms. I mean, in our culture today, women they got to be Wonder Woman in order to just keep up. And so that's a heart with which she started this business, and it has grown into what it is today. And I think just focusing on that basic premise that people are important and that we're trying to help them. It's interesting to me that I find we see ladies come home after a hard day of work or picking the kids up or taking them to sports or whatever. They come home to a clean house and they just break down and cry because that weight is off of their shoulders for a little while. And so, it may not seem like a glamorous way to make a living, but it's very rewarding not only for us as business owners, but for our ladies that are out there doing the job.
Skye, I wanted to give you an opportunity for a final comment. I did have one other question, and Brad, thank you for that. That's good stuff. Where are y'all serving? I know Huntsville, Walker County, but not just this area, right? Give us some insight of exactly where y'all serve.
Well, we started in Cypress. The business started in Cypress, and so we're in Cypress. We go from Spring Branch, Houston, to Cypress and Hockley, Magnolia, Tomball, Spring, and all the way up here to Huntsville. So yeah, that's where we cover. I mean, all over. And that sounds like we're huge, and we are prepared for growth, but we just hire strategically so that we can keep those employees kind of close to to their home base.
Yeah, kind of in that hub area they're working out of.
Absolutely. Yeah. And but we still try to make it a lot of fun for the crews that have to travel to our team meetings and our training meetings. But thank you for bringing that up, because I just wanted to say how proud I am of our employees. They are my why. Customers used to be my why, and I love cleaning and I love blessing moms and wives with a clean house. But I have pivoted over to my focus now is just these ladies who work for us. I love them.
That's so good. Here's something else. It's the fourth thing I was going to give business advice. Best book I ever read was The Customer Comes Second, the best business book. And it's if you treat your people like they're number one, then your business has a really good chance of thriving. In our meetings when I had my IT business, we changed that philosophy. I said on the outside, I want my customers to feel like they're the most important, but internally, you guys come first. And just like you, we were blessed to have one of my guys work with me for over 8 years and ended up made more than I made, and I was the owner. But I took care of him because I didn't have to worry about anything. I could leave for a day, and I knew that stuff was going to get done. So I learned that lesson from a guy who had an auto dealership, a very nice guy named James Drager, sold to Mac Hayek years ago in Georgetown. But he told me that. He said, Rob, if you take care of those employees, they're going to take care of you. And he was right by that. So, well, Skye, thank y'all for being here. Maybe there was one other thing. Was there anything else that you were thinking of that you wanted to highlight this morning before we go?
I don't think so.
Awesome.
No, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we
really
appreciate it very much.
And, yeah.
You bet. Well, by the way, they are a Hello Huntsville Ethical Business Directory member as well. Our members in that directory are required to uphold a code of ethics. It's just basic things, but they're important things that say that they're going to do what they say they're going to do. If a problem arises, they're going to work amicably. I can't say that word.
You did well.
It rolled out all right. But they're going to work together to make sure that those issues are resolved. And so we encourage you, if you're looking for businesses to do work with, go to our directory, hellohuntsvilletx.com/business directory. Thank y'all so much. We're going to have y'all on again sometime.
Absolutely.
It'd be our pleasure.
Give some updates. And by the way, I did want to mention they were big supporters too of coming out. You may not feel like you were a big supporter, but everybody who supported was a big supporter of our Rays of Hope, and we certainly appreciate that. We'll be doing that again coming up next year, so we're excited to continue that. And I know that Deep Clean Texas is going to continue to be a major force in our community for good, and we appreciate that.
We certainly hope so.
Yeah,
awesome.
absolutely.
Thank you again for the opportunity.
You bet. Magnolia, Deep Clean Texas. They serve Magnolia, deepcleantexas.com for more information. Hey, we'll step aside. We'll take a break. Jason Bay joins us again. And you know what? I let our guests read these keywords sometimes. Brad, what's the keyword?
Deer.
Deer. Have you ever hit a deer before? Or has a deer ever hit you? Let's word it the right way.
No, I've hit them with a 300 Win Mag bullet, but I've never hit them with my truck.
Some good eating afterwards as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, well, that's the keyword deer along with your name. Text that in. We've got a Cafe Texan gift card coming someone's way today. All you got to do is text that in on the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line at 936-339-0139. As always, our Thankful Thursday is brought to you by First Baptist. We'd love to have you come on out on Sundays at 9:30, service at 10:45, and I always say, Jason will get you out by noon. We'll step aside. We'll take a break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. More to come. This is your show. It is Good Morning Huntsville.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at GuardianDefenseLLC.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
Welcome to Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville, where we've been caring for your furry family members for over 4 decades. Nestled at 877 IH 45 South, our kennel is a perfect retreat for your pet. With a climate-controlled facility, spacious exercise yards, we ensure a comfortable and enjoyable stay. At Magnolia Kennel, we offer a range of options including overnight boarding, extended stay boarding, and doggy day out. But that's not all. We also provide additional pampering services like baths and nail care to keep your pets looking and feeling their best. Making a reservation is a breeze at magnoliakennel.com. We take great pride in our dedication to the community, supporting our local fire departments by providing oxygen pet masks. Stay connected and enjoy adorable pet updates by following us on Facebook. Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville is where dogs get to be dogs. Visit us at magnoliakennel.com to book your pet's next stay. We can't wait to meet your 4-legged family members.
The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com.
So, what's inside the mysterious little box?
What box? Oh, that box over there.
You went to Elliott.
Wait, don't open it yet. Oh, and yes, I went to see Elliott's Jewelers just a couple of days ago.
Inside the box, is it golden?
Well, I was a little concerned about the price of gold because it's high, but Elliott really helped me find something beautiful and monetarily agreeable.
Oh, well, hey, can I open it now, please?
Whoa, just a little longer. You have to at least wait until Christmas Day.
Oh, well, I can do that.
Elliott's Jewelers. Fine jewelry and engravable gifts. Schedule your appointment at elliottjewelers.com. That's ELLIOTTS Jewelers.com.
Make sure there's something extra special inside the mysterious little box you give this season.
Kickoff, and we'll be there with my 2 boys, and it'll be on TV. So watch it, and then pray for me on Sunday morning as we come back Saturday night.
We'll
try to get a few hours of sleep and come to church, hopefully in a good mood.
We will do it. Jason I just realized that for some reason, I guess our internet blipped for a second, so it knocked us off.
Oh, no.
Hopefully that whole interview, I'm pretty sure it was fine because I saw part of it. We were just talking about LSU coming to Texas A&M, man. That's gonna be pretty huge. Who was that coach that was over there forever? Was it Orgeron? Was that him?
Yeah. That was. See, they should have kept him. I like that guy. He fit the culture there so well. this guy they got now, I don't know. I've never really been a big fan of his. He's kind of peculiar.
That's a good word. Well, Jason, it's always fun. Welcome back in. We want to thank all of you. Thank you to Skye and Brad as well.
Yeah, that was a great interview.
Wonderful folks, and we're so appreciative of what they do in the community. And, you know, businesses, it's so important for businesses to be involved, not just to provide the product or the to provide the product or the service, but to provide that opportunity to give back. And I know I talked to a lot of business owners, man, we get hit up all the time to do this, this, and this. But, you know, the reality is you don't have to give money to everybody. You can give time. Here's what I always say. The easiest thing that anybody can do on social media is hit share and like.
Yeah.
You never know who that's going to reach. We've had donations come into Spirit Radio FM of people that I had no idea who they were, you know, and it's because someone said, well, I saw someone shared something. So you never know what you do and the impact that it's going to make.
And I tell you what, that they are so right in what they were talking about as far as like coming home to a clean house, especially with the cancer patients that they're talking about. You know, that is such a burden for so many people, is just trying to conduct their ordinary schedule of life, and if they're sick on top of that, and then trying to maintain order at home, because when there's disorder in your home, that affects every area of your life. And I think what they're doing, how they've chosen to give back, is so important, because I know that, and everyone knows that when your house is a wreck, it makes everything else that much harder.
Yeah, and while she was talking, Jason, I started thinking I need to be a lot more mindful and appreciative of what Bridget does, because it is so hard to keep a house clean with two children. You know, much more if you have more children. But it's she does a wonderful job, and I will. The next time I see things in the house, I will be thinking of that.
Yeah.
So, well, what's going on today? It's one of my favorite segments, Jason. I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, it's news you can use, and there's a lot going on in our world today. And I thought I would bring some of the items up and try to get your opinion on some of these. But first of all, I wanted to make mention that I read this morning when I got up. Elizabeth Francis, she's the oldest living person in the United States. She died on Tuesday at 115 years old. She was living in Houston at the time, and there's a picture of her on the news site here. Really doesn't look like 115 at all.
So that.
And and I love what her family said about her. The first thing that they said about her when they talked about what they attribute her long life to and such as that, they said she loved the Lord. Her faith was extremely strong. She was always, happy, saying, "How you doing? Are you doing okay?" That was just her personality. So know that she will be missed. 115 years old. Did you have anybody in your family that lived an exceptionally long time, Rob? Are you from a long line of people that live longer than usual?
I don't know if they say like 80-something now is a good age to live to, 80 or something, 81. And, my grandmother lived to be 93. My great-grandmother was 92. Mm. My mom's doing pretty well. She's almost 80. So, I expect my mom to go about 109.
Yeah.
We're hoping for. So, but no, we haven't had any centenarian. Mm-hmm. Now the super centenarian, isn't that when you hit 110? So this woman,
that's what they said. I read that in the
super
article.
Centenarian. Yeah, and I've got a picture. We're showing it there on the screen of her. So
it looked like a happy lady there.
Sure did.
Yeah, from Houston. I couldn't believe it's the third oldest person in the entire world. The oldest person in the United States, 115, went to be with the Lord on Tuesday. So. But I had my great aunt. She died when she was 99 years old, and her husband died when he was young. I think he was in his 30s or 40s when he passed away, and so she lived the majority of her life as a widow. She never had any children. And we kind of took her in as our family. She lived with my mother when she got older, and we called her Annie because she
of
technical issues.
Yeah, glitches there. We were talking. I think most of that story came in. Sorry, the internet's been blurbing here. We got to most of that with the lady, with the age. But go on. There's a pizza thing going on.
Yeah, yeah. In Germany now, they recently last week busted a pizza shop in Germany for selling pizza with a side of cocaine.
How does that happen?
Well, this is what I was interested in too. How does a pizza shop sell cocaine? Well, what they did was they had a general food inspector came in and was examining the restaurant, and what they did was they were looking at their orders, and they were noticed there was an exceptional number of orders. The best-selling pizza was number 40. Okay, so what they did was they had a police officer go through the drive-through undercover and ordered the number 40 pizza. And the number 40 pizza came with a personal-sized pizza with a side of cocaine. And they busted the guy and they arrested him. But here's the thing: after they arrested him and they let him loose, he started doing it again. He's making they confiscated over $260,000 out of his shop from his proceeds from cocaine, but he started doing it again. And after a while, they decided that they kept watching him, and they ended up busting a whole drug ring that was operating in Western Germany. So
were they like hiding baggies in the?
Yeah, they had 3.5 pounds of cocaine in the shop.
Wow.
So, pretty interesting.
Number 40. Wonder what the other 39 were. Just your regular old cheese variety.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think they're primarily making money off of the pizza.
I mean, I'm not bringing light because we know that addiction is a serious thing, but I can just see this if it's a pizza drive-through and you just see like a line of cars wrapped around the building and it's like number 40, number 40, number 40.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Now, this is a serious story that I wanted to get to because, we've done a lot of stories since I've been on here, and we've talked a lot about artificial intelligence. In fact, I don't know if you saw a lot of the reports coming out of Apple. They're releasing they have released their new phone, but they said the greatest technological achievement. He said the greatest technological achievement of this next generation after the development of the phone, which was kind of last generation's major achievement. Think about it. When we were kids, there was no internet, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, then you had the cell phones. Now everybody, and I'm trying to explain this to my children, like how we dated back in the day, because you didn't have cell phones, you didn't have internet, you had long distance phone calls. When you met. Now there's the internet. Everybody and their dog has a cell phone. Well, they are claiming that the next big technological advancement is going to be the use of artificial intelligence. And we've talked about that some on the show. And you've shown how we can, we've talked about music, we've talked about how it works in making graphics. You've shown graphics that you've developed. We've talked about how it can write papers, and a lot of students are using this for cheating on their homework, and it can write letters. I mean, the technological development of AI has been so instrumental, and it is going to continue to be. Well, this young man out of Florida, his mother is suing Google and a company called Character AI. Have you ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
All right. Well, her son ended up committing suicide because of this. Character AI is a artificial intelligence program that develops chatbots, and chatbots are a artificial. From what I gather out of the article, is a series of artificial intelligence programs that develop a certain personality, and you can choose what kind of personality you want your chatbot to have, and you can base it off of different characters and novels or movies, and they have different ones that you can select from. And this young man, he selected a character out of Character AI that was based on a character from Game of Thrones. Have you ever seen any of that?
No, I've heard of the show, but I never really watched it. I know it was a big popular show.
Yeah, so I don't know that much about it either.
It's a little rough sometimes.
Yeah, but anyway, so one of the characters he developed, or that was developed from this, and the character over time kind of develops its own personality. Think about that. I mean, that's pretty scary when you think about it.
Yeah.
And after he committed suicide, they looked into his phone and some of the chat back and forth from this AI character, and he had developed an intense relationship with this chatbot, and the chatbot over time convinced him from some of the interactions to take his own life. Think about that. I mean, the reality, I don't even want to use the word reality. Well, it is the reality of what it does to us living in a virtual world. You know, I think a lot of us, even as a parent, we don't realize the pressure that our children are under and the dynamic that the virtual universe has on the mindset, you know, because when kids or adults get so entrenched into the virtual world, the real world almost becomes secondary. They're so wrapped up in what's happening over here that they lose touch with what is real. You know what I'm saying?
I experienced that. There's a really popular game back in the day. It's still popular, called World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
And I was really big into playing that game. And I remember I would sit down and I'm not anymore, but I would sit down and play that game, and before long, like 8 hours was gone.
Right.
And I felt like I lived in that world of that game. And then whenever I finally turned it off, the reality didn't feel real.
Yes. Yes.
So I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I think I've known another person in my life that got really, really entrenched into this virtual world. Now his was through social media. You know, he was so entrenched in the virtual world that his real friends took a back seat to all these people that were online that were his virtual friends. And so all these people online, they were acquaintances, and they were people that sort of knew him, but they only knew what he wanted them to see. You know what I'm saying? But what was going on in his real life was completely falling apart. It was unraveling. But he could put himself together in this virtual world and appear to be something that he really wasn't. And that really caused a tremendous amount of pain for his family as they went through that and tried to bring him out of that. But I would just say, as a warning to all people that are watching this, is that not just for this artificial intelligence, but we all can get so caught up in what is happening online that we lose touch with what is happening in reality. I believe this is one reason you really need a church family, because this is where you build connections. We are meant to be connected as people. We're meant to have relationships. And when, like this young man in this game, he wanted that connection. And for whatever reason, he didn't feel like he could have that connection in reality. So he creates it virtually. And he's finding all of this fulfillment virtually, but it's not real. It's not real. I think this is we're in a culture that's more connected technologically than ever, but we're more lonely than ever. And I think it's so important that we need to understand the importance of genuine human interaction and connection. Not just texting somebody, but picking up the phone and calling somebody or going to see somebody. You know, we lose touch with reality when we get so entrenched in what's going on technologically.
I agree 100%. You know, working in the IT field for so many years, I saw that firsthand, and I go back to those games, you know, kids getting just sucked into them, because I wasn't even a kid. I was 20 years old, you know, 21 years old, and I remember going to visit my sister up in South Dakota, and I was up there for a week, and half that time I was entrenched in this game. I wasn't even there. I went to visit her, 1,200 miles away, and I'm sitting here playing some game.
Yeah, I know. And my kids are, and I know everybody's kids out there are. It's such a temptation these days to get those phones, and we all hate them. It's a love-hate relationship. We like them when we use them, but then we're, especially, we need to put those phones down. And it's true. We have to be more intentional about one-on-one interaction with people. And I think one of the best ways to do that is to do it around the dinner table at night. Get rid of the sitting on your couch and eating, and go around the table, sit down, have a meal with your family, and talk to each other. Don't neglect that. But the interesting thing about this, they're talking about this case. She's suing this tech company, and this case could really alter the way AI is seen in the future. Remember when the internet came out, it was just the wild, wild west. There was no regulations on it. It was just whatever, everything was out there. And they had to put certain regulations in place over time to kind of, police it in some respect. But I think as they go forward with AI, there's going to have to be some restrictions on how this happens, especially as these characters and this artificial intelligence begins to develop on its own. You know what I'm saying? Because these personalities in this thing actually become more and more tailored to the person that they're talking to. It literally becomes a personality. Online, virtually. I had a conversation with my daughter this past week. You'll get this when your kids get to be teenagers, and it's past school time now, so I can tell this little story because she's not listening.
That's what you're waiting on. Wait until after 8:45.
So parenting is a learning experience. You'll learn that, Rob. There's things that you learn constantly, mistakes that you make along the way. You walk this balancing act of knowing when to say yes and when to say no and this sort of thing. So my daughter, she wanted to go to this birthday party this past weekend. And so we were thinking about it, we were talking about it, and we didn't really know the family that well. It's somebody that she, went to school with, and so we end up letting her go, and she wanted to stay the night. We were really hesitant about that because we don't usually let them go to a place where we don't, know the people. Mm-hmm. And this was supposed to be all girls and all that. Anyway, and my daughter, she's 14 years old. Anyway, so she goes to this birthday party, and when she comes back home, we learned that there was alcohol at this party, And so, and we talked about it, and she didn't partake, and but it made her uncomfortable, and there was, her and her mother, her and my wife, we had a good conversation about it. We're driving back from a volleyball game this weekend. We're having a conversation about it, and I told her, I said, don't try to grow up too fast. Take the time when you're young to be a kid. Don't try to do adult things whenever you're a child. And this is what a lot of kids want to do. That they want, when they're 14, they want to be 16. When they're 16, they want to be 18. When they're 18, they want to be 21. And and then when they're 21, they want to be 25.
Then when you're 40, you want to be 21.
I said, take the time to be a child. Enjoy the things that are fun about being 14. Enjoy life. And I ran across this article, and I thought about it's 30. This is. I'm not going to list all 30 of them because we're running out of time. I know, but this is things basically every single person on Earth experiences when they become an adult.
Okay.
Now think about the things that you had to learn when you became an adult that you just took for granted as
paying
a kid.
bills.
Yeah, paying bills. They come due regardless of whether you want them to or
don't
not.
matter.
But different people commented on different things, and one of them, I'm going to list off several, and then we can talk about some of them. But one person wrote, and this was appropriate for today. They wrote, "Being an adult is about always cleaning. A thing I never realized about being an adult is that you will always be cleaning your kitchen. No matter if you get takeout, no matter if you're gone all day, you will be cleaning." Isn't that the truth?
That was perfect for Skye.
That's what I'm talking about. It's perfect for today.
Ties right in. You'll always be cleaning.
You always are. No matter what it is, you're always cleaning. And I have pity for my wife because she does spend so much time cleaning, and the kids take it so much for granted. They bring their shoes, they dump them off at the door, their backpacks are all over, and it's always about cleaning. Someone else says it's about realizing your mistakes. I think this is key to life too, is just realizing your mistakes and being willing to admit that you make mistakes, even when it's with your children, like I mentioned before, is being able to say, hey, and I messed up there. Another person said it's about strict routines. You have strict routines, Rob?
Yeah, with the children I do. It's weird. As I've gotten older, especially as I've had children, I'll be honest, I wasn't really a routine-oriented person. I've realized in order to find success, you do have to have some routines in place. But I have learned that I absolutely have to have routines with my children. It is so imperative. I don't want them going to sleep at random hours. We're very strict on, okay, it's 7:30, it's time to start taking a bath. By 8 o'clock, I want them in bed. I mean, we're just big on that routine. And Braylon knows that now, and I'll ask her, are you tired? Yeah, Daddy, I'm ready to go to bed. Like, she knows she's ready to go to bed now. It's awesome. I never thought that would happen with a child. But it's because of the routine that we've set.
Yep, and I think those routines are a blessing, and I tell my wife all the time they're a blessing, and sometimes they're a curse because you get into a routine to doing the same thing and it just feels like it's never ending. You know what I'm saying?
Or perfect example is you have a night out and your children are with you, right? And you're like, man, it's going to be past their bedtime, and so you're eating. Maybe you go to a nice steakhouse. Bridget and I went over. We love going to Ransom's in Montgomery. You ever been over there?
No, I haven't.
You got to go. We'll have to take you all over there. You and Kim sometime, but. It is the best steak, bar none, ever in the history of this whole area. Look, if you're local and you got a steak place, that's great. Ransom's is local too. Their steaks are unbelievable. You can literally take your finger and slice through the filet mignon.
I want to go, man. I love steaks.
Oh man, and they butcher their own. They got it right there.
Wow.
And it's so good. It's very affordable. But perfect example, the other night we're out there, the kids start just getting fussy. Why? Because it's 8 o'clock. They're used to taking a bath, and we get in the truck. I'm like, Braylon, you tired? I'm ready for bed, Daddy. And she's like, not even 3, and she's telling me that. So the routines work, though.
Yeah. Two more things, and then I'll turn it back over to you because I know it's getting close to 9. It's about having the difficult conversations, and I think this is key. Sometimes being an adult is about having difficult conversations. I think, and sometimes those difficult conversations are with your children, and that incident that I just mentioned with my daughter, she that difficult conversation, it was difficult to have, but it was a great conversation. I know that she felt so much better after we had talked about it, and also about and we felt so much better about it too. And finally, I like this one. It's about knowing who your friends are. I think that's really good because. When you're a kid, you really don't a lot of times know what a true friend is. But when you become an adult, you realize what true friendship really means.
I thought and I'm not saying this about any one person or calling out anybody, but I've realized in life that when you're on this, and I've posted about this a lot, not as a negative way. In fact, I'll read something here, in a moment, just about my career. And I certainly didn't want anybody here to take it the wrong way because I love what we do here.
Yeah.
And somebody had said something. This wasn't, an attention grab or anything, but I was thinking about this, and let me word it like this: when you're riding this high wave, man, everybody wants to get up there with you.
Yeah.
Everybody. I learned this from Dave Richmond at North Dakota State basketball, and I think I've shared this story before, but You know, when they were winning, man, he'd get 100 text. Congratulations, coach. Way to go. And I was on the bus. We were on a 6-game skid. There was only one time he ever asked me to get off the bus because there was some stuff that he said that he's like, Rob, out of respect, I don't want you to hear what I'm about to say. And that doesn't happen often. But one of the times I was on the bus is a life lesson. And this is the one aspect of the broadcasting I miss. Of course, I love doing the games, but I miss that just the life lessons you learn. Even me as a broadcaster, an adult, I was learning life lessons from this coach. And it's one thing that stood with me. Is he goes, you know, guys, I get these text messages all the time when we win. He goes, we're on the 6-game skid. You know, I only got 4 text messages tonight. He goes, those are my 4 that mean the most to me. He goes, the other 96, they just want to be up there when we're up there.
Yep.
And that's what I want to encourage you today. Don't be the 96. Be one of the 4.
That's right.
Support people not only when they're at their highest, but I think it's more important to support them when they're at their lowest. Former pastor of mine told a story. As a well-known pastor, and this story really resonated. But you know, in the ministry, there's all sorts of things that happen. And a pastor got involved and did something that they shouldn't have done, and the rest of the religious community or ministerial community just slammed him,
turned their back on him,
threw him down. This pastor reached out and called him, and the guy picked up the phone and he said, "You know, the guy that had committed this thing, and it was something bad, but you know, we all have a chance to we all deserve to be forgiven, which we don't deserve that. Let me reword that.
Right.
We all have the opportunity to be forgiven.
Right.
And anyways, this pastor had called this guy and said, "Look, I know what you did. You know, it's not like he shot somebody, but I think it was one of those, he had an affair, did something, you know, it was one of those tough things." And he said, "But I want you to know I'm praying for you, and God is a God of redemption." And he goes, and I believe that relationship can be restored and, you know, what have you. And, you know, that guy told him, he said, you know, out of all the people that I know, and we're talking guys that are on like TBN, you know, the big networks. And he goes, you know, out of all the people that I've crossed paths, you're the only one that called me. You're the only one that called me to tell me this. And he said, thank you. And and this isn't like some huge, well-known, you know, worldwide type pastor. It's people in the U.S. would know who it is. But long story short is that guy is now back in the ministry, and the ministry's thriving. And it was all because God, number one, but number two is this pastor reached out when nobody else would and said, we need to practice what we preach, and I want you to know that what you did, it wasn't good, but God is a God of redemption, and I want you to know you need to pray about it and ask for forgiveness. And he did, and because of that connection. And I think that's why it's so important, friends, that we need to support people when we need to, you know, be thankful and encourage people and want people to be successful. But we also have to realize that we're going to hit these valleys, and some of us are going to hit these really low, deep, depressing valleys. And one, we need to turn to God in all things because he's never going to let you down. But two, you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with the people that are going to lift you up when you're down.
Yes.
Don't just hang out with the people that want you. And I go back to this. I posted this, Jason. I don't know if Kim showed you this or if you heard this, but do you mind if I read this real quick?
No, read it, please.
And this isn't an intention. You know, one of my ORU professors says, Robbie, sound like you need some help. And I was like, no, I just need sleep is what I need. I need sleep. But I had this on my mind the other night because I saw a one of those reels come across.
Right.
And it was a musician. And the musician was up and coming in the country world, was doing a really great job. I mean, I thought this guy could maybe be the next George Strait. That's how good he was. And all of a sudden one day he decided to turn it off. And he said, because that's not where God wants me to be. He said that him performing on the stage was causing him to sin and live in sin. And he just knew in his heart that it wasn't for him anymore. He went home and told his wife, said, I think I'm done. His wife said, are you sure? And he goes, yeah, I think I have a different calling in life now. And she said, well, you owe it to your fans to at least have a farewell tour. So he did. He had a farewell tour, and now he does no music at all anymore. He's done. And he said that God spoke to him in his heart and said, the way that he worded it, and let me see if I can, he says, I get my glory how I get my glory. I think some of us feel that we have this calling, and there's nothing wrong with this, but we also have to be open to the idea that God may change things. And if he does change things, you can't feel like you failed. And I posted this. I said, for years I thought broadcasting sports at a high level was my calling. I really did. Everything I did for nearly a decade was intentional toward that goal. Unbeknownst to me, it culminated when I had the privilege to broadcast here at Sam in Huntsville and then eventually North Dakota State. At that point at NDSU, Jason was on the highest of highs. And I thought to myself, this was just the beginning. I really did. I thought, man, this is about the doors. And I even had mentors in the industry, well-known people in the industry. One of them that oversees a lot of college broadcasting said the door's about to just open wide for you. Stay put for 5 or 10 years and get ready. That's what I mean. What they told me, and but what I felt was just the beginning was actually the end. And I don't mean this in a negative way.
Right.
And someone read it that way. I said, no, I'm not being negative. I said, I wrestled with this for a long time, and I'll be honest, it did. And I've talked to you about it. It periodically put me into a deep depression because I felt like, man, I've really messed up here. Because I made the decision. I was like, I'm done. But I knew God was calling me. I said, the enemy wanted me to believe that a change out of my control led to destruction. Were all my efforts put forth in vain? Did I waste away a decade of my life pursuing a dream? Now, I went back and added this in because this is where people thought that I was being negative. I said, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And I say this as encouragement to some of you out there today.
Right.
I said, the reality is that we all have God-given talents. All of us do. We may think that he wants us to utilize those talents to glorify him and how we see fit. For me, the talent was all about getting to the next level of my broadcasting career. Now, when I look back, I understand my dream was not meant to be, or at least right now, God had something greater in store. And here's the deal. When you go through this, you have to be mindful. You have to pray about this. But I strive to be mindful to not allow myself to dwell in the past on the what could have been. How many of us, Jason, get in that? I'm sure you have. All of us have been in the what could have. Man, what could have been when that opportunity came along to do this? Or what could have been if I would have done this? I was thinking the other day, I bought a little lot out at years ago for – it was like $2,800. I bought a lot, 60 by 90 piece of product. There's a ton more of them I could have got really cheap. But I bought one, and now they want 15, 20 grand per lot. And I'm sitting here thinking, what could have been? What could have been? You know? But I strive to be mindful about that. Instead, I remain steadfast, knowing that his plan is greater than any plan that I ever thought or imagined. The musician that I was talking about, he described his journey when he gave up his music career after God revealed to him, I get my glory, how I get my glory. The key to all this was do not give up on your dreams. There's nothing wrong with dreaming and the talents that God has blessed you with. However, be aware that what you originally planned may not be the ultimate plan. You have to find peace in all circumstances and have full trust in the Lord. And one of my broadcasting mentors had reached out to me and said, you didn't do all that in vain. I said, I know I didn't. Let me add that little. But I thought of all that, Jason, because I thought, and now I think of, not making this about me, but I say it as an example to somebody else who may be going through the same thing. You never know. I feel like what I could consider one of the most trying times in our life with losing people in the family and, storms and all these things, this is actually the best time of my life. And I think we have to wake up every day and accept where we're at. It doesn't mean that we just have to be complacent. We need to pray and continue and try to live out those dreams that God has put into our heart. But I do believe that we have to find joy in all circumstances. And I believe today is the best day of my life. And I say that truthfully because, man, God is doing some amazing things here at this church. And after I put it, I said, man, I hope like Jason doesn't read into this the wrong way. Because for me, I love what we have the privilege of doing here. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I would not trade anything in my life right now of where I'm at. I would not trade it for the world. I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful for your leadership. I'm thankful for what God is doing, and not just here, but what he's doing in Walker County. And I started thinking, it was cool to do all those games, and I push and want others to succeed in that industry. But I also realize now that was my calling, and maybe down the road it'll come back some way in some form. But this is my calling right now, and you have to embrace that moment that you're in right now. And that's what does that kind of make sense?
No, it makes a perfect sense because what you're talking about is just what I mentioned at the first of the show, unmet expectations. You have certain expectations for your life. Other people have expectations for you, what you should do, what you should be, who you should be. And then those unmet expectations sometimes turn into the greatest fulfillment because it's not our plans, but it's his plans that are perfect. And I think when we approach God with that attitude, when we approach our life with that attitude, we can enjoy the moment. But so much of our life, like we're talking about with our children, is always looking forward to the next thing. No, enjoy where you are, like you were just saying, in the moment. Realize when you let go of those expectations and let God fill you with His desire, then you really find fulfillment. I mean, my journey is very similar. I had all my life planned out for me, and thought I knew exactly what I wanted to be and what I wanted to do, and it certainly wasn't this. But God had other plans, and I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah, and think of the impact because of God that you've been able to make on other people's lives for God. And that's what's so incredible. And for pastor appreciation, we appreciate you, Brother Jason, and all that you do, man.
I appreciate you, Rob. I really do. I'm so glad God brought you here, and I think the teamwork that we're able to do for the glory of Him this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I wanted to share one. Do you have just a couple more? I know we're a little bit over 9. I wanted to share. It's a friend of mine. I won't say who, but he used to work for ESPN, and he did some pretty big gigs. He sent me this. He said, "I saw your post. I hope you're well. I just saw your post about moving on from what you used to do." He said, "I just wanted to share that you're not alone. It's something that I wrestle with a lot." So here's a guy that worked for ESPN. He was on linear television. I'm not bashing ESPN Plus, but that's all web streaming. I'm talking linear, put on ESPN, boom, there he is. And he said, "I was sharing custody of my first 2 children, so I couldn't chase jobs around the country. Some of the gigs, San Antonio, UT, I gave up because the money just didn't justify the time away from my family." He still does high school stuff at a high level. He loves it, but he said, "There are days I wish I would have gone all in. And then again, I had someone tell me that the media business is divided between fame and fortune." And he said, "You are on the air, but you are not famous." He said, "Get your tail," he said a different word, but he said, "Get your tail into sales," was the best advice that I ever got. And he said, "Best of luck to you on your journey." And, you know, and I responded to him, and I said, "Man, I appreciate that." And I said, "You know, you made an impact on me." This guy actually called me years ago and told me his story, and now he related again to me. And so I just want to encourage all of you today, find peace and joy where you're at. If you're in a situation to where it's just you're miserable, pray about that. Ask God to bring peace, and I guarantee it's only for a season. And then also, not to be negative, but you have to understand that there may be things that could come your way that are going to throw you off course. And you have to stay the course, and you have to find peace and joy. And I think that's so important. And that's kind of what was on my heart today as part of the inspiration, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't take any of that the negative way. Take it the positive way and realize that God is always at work. He's always at work behind the scenes.
Praise God.
And, yeah, thank God for that because we're not at work all the time. He is. So, well, let's head over real quick to our 0 Degree Creations phone and text line. We got one final call to make today. Somebody has won a cafe. They're going to take us to lunch today.
Yes.
Hello.
Is this my good friend, Miss Nina?
It sure is.
Well, you are still hanging on with us. I know we're over today, but I just wanted to say God bless you. I think the world of you, and the randomizer thinks the world of you today because you texted in, and we've got a Cafe Texan gift card coming your way, Miss Nina.
Oh, thank you.
How are you doing? Everything going okay?
Yeah, I'm doing better.
Wonderful. Well, Nina is Jamie Saucier's wife. Jamie is Santa Saucier.
All right.
So, Miss Nina, I got to ask you, was Jamie always Santa even when you guys met, or how did it come about?
No, he's been Santa for maybe 15 years.
Wow.
Did you kind of push him into that, or did he just decide he was going to do it one day?
No, he just did it.
So I got to ask you one. You're
Richard's school they started using him a long time ago for Santa.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, Jason's over, involved in that area. I got to ask for you real quick, Nina. What is it like being Mrs. Claus?
It's good. It's good.
All right. Well, hey, we just think the world of you and want you to know that we love you.
Thank
you. We got to. I'll let Jamie know to come by the church and pick that up. We've got it here at First, Monday through Thursday from 9 to 3. We got a Cafe Texan gift card coming y'all's way. Okay.
I appreciate it.
God bless you.
All right. Final question: what do you love most about Huntsville, Nina?
Oh, I love the people, the scenery.
All right. Well, good deal. Well, we love you. Appreciate you. And God bless you, okay?
Thank you.
All righty. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
How cool is that? That's Miss Nina
great.
Saucier.
That's
Wonderful,
great.
wonderful lady. So She's just a tremendous lady, and her husband Jamie is great people. So, well, Jason, that'll wrap it up. It's been a fun. I don't mind going over here whenever you're with us. And
brother, it's been a privilege.
I always feel like this show just goes where it goes. You know,
that's what it needs to do.
So we appreciate all of you. Come again, join us. We'd love to have you here on Sundays, 9:30 for the. I always get them confused. 9:30 Bible study for all ages. Youth group here, Chad Lorraine's doing a phenomenal job. I want to give Jay and Bailey a shout out too with the college ministry. Those folks are just doing an incredible job. Deborah Wine with the children's ministry. Of course, Pastor, your leadership has been awesome. But I'm going to tell you, God is at work here at First. And our prayer is that all churches here in our community that believe in Jesus Christ as the Lord and Savior, that they are all overflowing. There was a stat that I think maybe you even mentioned, that if every person in Huntsville, or if every church in Huntsville was filled to the top with people, there wouldn't be enough churches to support them.
Oh, that's true.
So we want to encourage you. Maybe you've never been before. Show up. Come here on Sunday. We'll make you feel like family. That's what Molly does. Molly is she's a special lady, and we want you to come and be a part of our family. So we'll see you Sunday.
Absolutely.
Will we see you Sunday?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that'll wrap it up, friends. Thank you for being with us today. As always, I want to remind you we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. So please provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Billy Coffin joins us, and also our friend Teresa Verrier comes on the show. And we'll also talk about the restaurant report. That's coming up tomorrow. Until then, good morning and God bless. We'll see you on the other side. Jason, thank you, and have a blessed day, my friend.
Thank you.